our trip to celebrate The View's 25th season, we came here to the Bahamar
Resort.
Paradise. There's so many words, but I can't think of them all. You know, this was months in the planning, and when we were in the air flying here on Friday, the news broke that Supreme Court the conservatives overturned Roe versus Wade. So a hot topics meeting immediately kind of broke out 40,000 feet up in the air trying to process the impact of this decision. So we want to recognize right off the bat that not everyone agrees on this particular issue, but it is at its core about whether you have the right to make decisions about another person's reproductive choices. That's at its core.
Well, so much for differing views, because after all, these women represent the view, the woke leftist view. And as they went on to whine and complain and bemoan the Supreme Court decision from the beauty of the Bahamas, apparently no one on their staff bothered to inform them that abortion is illegal in the Bahamas. And it frankly went downhill from there. Hey, gang, we're just getting started. We're going to watch and react to some of the more absurdly woke clips from ABC's The View from the Bahamas. Fair warning, you may find your IQ dropping a bit during these segments, but I promise you I will do my best to try to raise that IQ to even higher than it was before. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And guess what? How would you like to get your name in the credits of a featured film? I'm not kidding. You can. We're about to launch the premiere of our brand new movie, The Return of the American Patriot, The Rise of Pennsylvania. It's an amazing documentary that's sure to spread patriot hope far and wide across the nation. But the expenses for this film are pretty significant. They hit over $50,000, and this is where you come in. If you click on that link below to donate to our film fund right now, for any donations over $50 as a thank you, you're going to have your name featured in the ending movie credits as a Turley Talks production founder. Any donations over $150, you're going to be invited to a live VIP video session with me so we can meet before the live virtual premiere of the movie. So this is going to be absolutely awesome. Make sure to click on that link below right now, check out the trailer, and contribute to whatever you can and help spread patriot hope as far and as wide as possible. Let's start with the theological illiterates at The View trying to fault the Supreme Court for violating the mythical notion of church and state.
Necessarily
but don't we have church, separation of church?
No, we don't anymore.
I mean, Clarence Thomas needs to have a seance and have Thomas Jefferson there and Alexander Hamilton. Hello?
Yeah.
Do we still have a separation of church and state here? Is in the Constitution?
It's the First Amendment guarantee, and we don't seem to have that anymore.
We're in a theocracy right now. And
6 of the 9.
Well, there you are. You got Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies at The View demonstrating themselves not to be just being theological illiterates, but historical illiterates. Were the Supreme Court to conjure up someone like Alexander Hamilton, he would have told them something like this, quote, "Good and wise men in all ages have supposed that the deity from the relations we stand into himself and to each other has constituted an eternal and immutable law, which is indispensably obligatory upon all mankind. This is what is called the law of nature, dictated by God himself." As for Thomas Jefferson, he attended Sunday services that met right inside the House of Representatives. And he also gave federal funds to Christian missionaries to build a church on the side of an Indian tribe. And the simple fact of the matter is that there is no such thing as a separation between church and state in the Constitution. It doesn't exist. You could search the entire document. You will never, ever find that phrase. And this is because most, if not all, of our founding fathers were accommodationists when it came to the relationship between church and state, which meant that they believed that church and state should work together for the betterment of our society. It was modern left-wing liberalism, the very liberalism peddled daily on The View, that took that accommodationist vision of church and state away from us. And I, for one, am very thankful that the Supreme Court is restoring it back to us once again. Here's Sunny Hostin trying to make the case that you can't be both pro-life and pro-death penalty or pro-gun.
I hate to be the curmudgeon on the panel.
Do you really? What's up with you?
Look, I don't think that we're going to see much more movement on this, especially with the way the Supreme Court is going, right? Because now you have Clarence Thomas writing an opinion that says, you can have your guns anywhere. You can have them not only in your home, you can have them outside. And I think we're seeing such hypocrisy, quite frankly, from not only the Supreme Court, of course, but from Republicans. Because if you truly are pro-life, you cannot be pro-life and also be pro-death penalty and be pro-guns. There's just no way that that is consistent. And when you think about the Republican Party, 80% of Republicans believe that the death penalty is appropriate, morally justified when it comes to someone convicted of murder. And we know so many people are wrongfully convicted of murder. Right. And then you have the Republican Party also being pro-gun rights, right. Pro-gun.
Speaking of,
I just don't think we're...
Now, this is an accusation that I hear a lot, all right, frankly, that if you're pro-life, or if you're truly pro-life, whatever that means, okay, then there's absolutely no way that you could be pro-death penalty and pro-gun. And as she went on to say, there's just no way that that is consistent. Now, of course, we have to remember this is coming from someone who can't define what a woman is. But apparently she's got the definition of pro-life nailed right down there, right? So note the consistency with definitions are fine for thee, but not for me, right? First off. But secondly, what our woke warrior here seems utterly clueless on is that a truly pro-life position, as she puts it, is pro-life precisely because we first affirm a transcendent, eternal moral standard that stands above our fashionable opinions. In other words, in a truly pro-life position, the fundamental principle isn't life. The fundamental principle is a transcendent moral law that alone has the ultimate authority to define what is right and wrong, good and evil. That is our fundamental standard, not life per se. We're not busy making life into an idol. We are pro-life because we are first pro-transcendent moral law. And in virtually every divine moral law tradition, Christian, Hindu, Muslim, Confucian, Taoist, you name it, there is a clear distinction between putting an innocent life to death, which is universally condemned, and putting a guilty life to death, which is generally universally approved. Now, this is not to get into a debate over the death penalty, right? It's simply to point out that divine moral law traditions make precisely the distinction that this woke warrior claims you can't make. And of course, it's made because life is not the fundamental principle. Rather, life is itself subservient to this higher moral law, the author of life. And pro-lifers side with the higher moral law. And the same thing goes for self-defense. The Christian tradition, as do many other faith traditions, has a significant precedent affirming the right to self-defense. Again, killing someone who's trying to murder you is fundamentally different than killing someone who is merely inconveniencing you. Hey, gang, before we get into our last clip, we got a huge 4th of July special going on at our merch store where you can get shirts like this one, Bike Riding Biden. If you buy 2 shirts, you're going to get one absolutely free. It's our gift to you as we together celebrate faith, family, and freedom and the birth of our nation. Make sure to click on that link below and visit our awesome merch store. Grab a couple shirts for yourself and then get one free for the patron in your life. They're going to absolutely love you for it. So click on that link below or go to store.turleytalks.com.
I want people to have the lives they want, but I don't want to force anybody. I don't want anybody coming in my house telling me how to raise my daughter and what she needs because they don't know. I appreciate everybody's religion, but I do not subscribe to your religion. I don't ask you to subscribe to mine, and you do not have the right, based on your religious beliefs, to tell me, because what's next, as Clarence Thomas is signaling, they would like to get rid of contraception. Do you understand, sir? No, because you don't have to use it.
But that's crazy.
They don't have to use it.
Everything's on the menu now. Contraception's on the menu. Gay marriage is now probably going to be overturned. Affirmative action is
we
no
were
more.
not in the Constitution either.
Well,
we were not even people
he is
in
saying
the Constitution.
nothing is precedent anymore.
Well, you better
but
hope
Clarence,
that they don't come for you, Clarence, and say you should not be married to your wife who happens to be white. Because they will move that. And you better hope that nobody says, you know, well, you're not in the Constitution, you're back to being a quarter of a person.
We're back to the 50s.
Because that's not going to work either.
You know
We'll
what?
be right back.
Oh, all right.
Sorry.
All right, this is one of the more laughable rants because it gets what Clarence Thomas said completely and totally wrong. Whoopi is ranting about something Clarence Thomas never said or wrote. Leave aside the fact, by the way, that Whoopi has absolutely no problem whatsoever with imposing her warped religion of wokeness on the rest of us. We'll leave that aside. What Clarence Thomas said about revisiting contraception, same-sex marriage, and the like is that these rights need to be rooted not in the 14th Amendment, as they were in their previous decisions, but rather in either the 9th Amendment or what's called the Privilege and Immunities Clause in Article 4, Section 2 of the Constitution. He emphatically did not say that we would have to revisit contraception and same-sex marriage in terms of overturning that. In fact, Alito's summary ruling said nearly a dozen times that this decision to overturn Roe does not impact any other right, period. What Clarence Thomas wants the court to do, ironically, is ground those other rights like contraception and same-sex marriage in more stable constitutional reasoning. So as it turns out, Whoopi is actually ranting against a figment of her own imagination. Well, that's going to do it for us, gang. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my latest video that will help you to think better so you can feel better in this crazy and turbulent world. You're not going to want to miss it. Make sure to click on that link, and I will see you over there. God bless.